Hey guys, there's a lot of stuff to cover today, including more information regarding the Switch version of Persona 3 Reload, Famitsu interview teasers, and a bunch of images and data of Persona 5 early beta that are making round on the internet, revealing many cut content. Let's take a look together. Let's starting with the news surrounding Persona 3 Reload Switch version. As usual for these foreign sites, I will need to use the AI translation to translate it. But here's what Atomic.vg have to say. We're just a couple of weeks away from Persona 3 Reload being released on both current consoles generation, as well as in the past and PC. Undoubtedly, one of the things that caught the most attention with the announcement of this highly anticipated remix was the fact that a version for Nintendo Switch will not be arriving. A few days ago, we had the opportunity to be at the previous event with our friends from Sega Atlus, where in addition to being able to try the title in advance, we were able to chat with the director and producer. During the interview, we couldn't help but ask the question about what had happened with the version for Nintendo Switch, especially taking into account the good results that the company had had on the hybrid platform with several of its titles, including Persona 5 Royal. Although, the response from the director of Persona 3 Reload, Takuya Yamaguchi, and its producer, Ryota Nishima, was somewhat ambiguous. They hint that it is probably only a matter of time before their new game arrived at the house of Mario. Since we began to conceptualize everything that would come in Persona 3 Reload, we decided that there would be no version for the Nintendo Switch. Of course, the idea is there, but it is the matter of discussing it with the team and seeing what they think about it, and we will see what will happen. The P Studio director responded to us. Well, there you have it. I have the impression that there is an intention for the Switch to receive Persona 3 Reload at some point. The thing is that surely P Studio, being in charge of this project entirely, did not want to get into too much trouble about adjusting the experience to the capabilities of the Nintendo console, a matter that will surely be left in the hands of another team. In any case, and as I already mentioned a few moments ago, it seemed to me that it is the only matter of time before the game reaches Switch. Alright, moving on, Famitsu has reviewed the cover for the issue weekly Famitsu magazine number 1834, which featured the protagonist from Persona 3 Reload alongside Aigis on the cover. And in this volume, it will dedicate 24-page special feature on the comprehensive summary of the game's noteworthy elements, its characters, the new additions, and comments from developer interviews conducted thus far. Of course, when this is released, I'll take a look first, and if there is something new that is worth telling, I'll let you guys know. But before we move on, if you pre-order this volume ahead of time, it will also come with 5B card featuring the very same art you see on the cover. Now, a warning to you guys who don't want to get spoiled. A couple of days ago, there have been reports that some people have already received their physical copy of Persona 3 Reload from an accidental shipping. But before you get mad at Atlus, this seems to not be their fault, as most of the shipping is done by the third party. However, I just want to let you guys know ahead of time to be careful when you click on any of the Persona 3 Reload thumbnail on YouTube, because it might contain those additional scenes that only exist in the Reload version. Of course, I'm sure if the uploader is nice enough, they will have a spoiler tag there, but if you are the kind of people that don't look at the first few seconds of the video anyway, and then you write in the comment that like, oh man, I wish you have a spoiler tag because you ruined my experience, then I guess I can't help you. Talking about spoiler, Atlus has released their official rules. They said that you will be able to stream and record every part of Persona 3 Reload for personal and non-commercial use when it is released. Additionally, Atlus has asked for your cooperation to please mark spoiler and spoiler warning for your contents. Now, on to the big news that everybody is talking about, but surprisingly, it's not about Persona 3 Reload, but it's about Persona 5 beta build from the year 2015 have been surfaces around the internet. Mainly the story goes that someone is able to auction these discs from a private auction, and now that it's spread around the internet, more and more people is starting to extract more and more data and sharing it around. So there's a lot of data that's scattered around different sites. However, I'm not going to show you all of them, since some of them are mainly just a placeholder. For example, they have this Catherine icon and Persona 4 character icon that's still left over inside those builds. But here are some of the stuff that I think you'll be interested in knowing about. First, let's start with the music. So there's a couple of tracks that's floating around YouTube now. This one is the early version of Wake Up, Get Out There. Alright, next there is this unused female character that some people suggest that it might be a female protagonist that they decided to scrap. However, some people also mentioned that the character awfully looked like Sho from Persona 4 Ultimax. If you don't know who Sho is, mainly the story that's important about him is that he is one of the wild card that happened to reject a contract from Igor, but Igor believed that one day he will come back and accepted that contract. Although this female character can also be seen in some of the early concept as well. Next, we have Ryuji with a different design on his shirt saying fucking ruse instead of the usual no more ruse. And here's how Lavinsa was supposed to look like before the designer we know and love, which to me looking more like a maid. Next, we have Futaba with the open back headphones. Before it was branded to be AKG headphone. And if you didn't know, you can actually still get the AKG version headphone on eBay, but it's extremely expensive. Next, we have some leftover image that only exists on the beta version. This one seems to be the alternative version of the Sayuri, but it might be a weird distortion version created by Madarame, as the original version of Sayuri symbolized the mother love to their child. This version of it might be how Madarame feels when he's taking care of the young Yusuke. Apart from that, we also have the Makoto blackmail picture taken by Kaneshiro that is a lot more forceful than the version released. To be honest, it does make sense to cut these out, as the imagery might be too weird or too extreme, making it lack appeal to the mass audiences. But talking about extreme, I still have more stuff to share. Furthermore, you remember the scene where Ryuji was believed to be dead, but happened to be able to return alive from the Shido Palace, which somewhat resulted in the girls get really upset with him because they felt like he's playing with their emotion or something. I mean, I sort of get it, but it's a really weird Asian culture thing that it doesn't make too much sense. However, in the original scene, they were supposed to beat him up, and there is already a video showing the animation of this happen somewhere online, but now we actually have the full version of the scene. Here, take a look.
What's this? Your crying face is so not cute.
It's your damn fault!
What did I do?
We were worried about you!
Hey!
This is all because your everyday conduct is bad.
I'm taking advantage of this too.
This ain't making any...
You troublemaker! This one's for Mona! I don't really...
Wait! What's this about?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. I mean, even Mogata is worried about Ryuji here, which is pretty crazy. But what I think is the most random about this scene is that after each character hit Ryuji, they have to go into this idol stand where they have to look in the off direction and close their eye for some reason. I mean, even Yusuke is doing it, and even Haru here. Talking about Haru though, there is an older icon of her that looked really smug as well on this build, which somewhat makes sense now that you compare it to the opening scene where she was eating the lollipop, because people are always wondering why she looked kind of like smug there. Some people did say that like she might have a different personality, and I guess this sort of confirmed it now that her personality is slightly different, or maybe a lot different, I'm not sure, just from this icon. Next, we have the story plot point that were removed entirely of Shadow Sai challenging the Phantom Thief to a poker game. So, to no one's surprise, they were not able to beat Sai and have to end up using a cheating technique to beat her. And since Crow is the one that came up with the idea, it's likely that this scene and plot is being replaced with the one that Crow using a secondary card to gather point to open the path to the final part of the palace. In this scene though, there is a part where Akechi picking up Morgana, and there's a part where Morgana was sitting on Joker lap, which both look kinda cute to me. Apart from the poker event at the casino, there was also once a mission for you to find a cat bed for Morgana to sleep in. But of course, as you know it, in the final version, he pretty much just sleep on top of Joker. Now, I feel like this one is the most talked about, and you might have seen this stuff floating around the internet already, but there was a model of older version of Nanago. Interestingly, she now can have more of a tomboy vibe to her, which does kind of remind me of one of the older concepts. Additionally, the animation attached to her is the animation of Femc from Persona 3 Portable. He has a Reddit post from a cool guy explaining the possible reason. A really good plausible theory that I saw on Twitter is that this model is probably from the time when P5 was going to be the road trip style games, with the remnants of this idea being used to make Strikers, which has a very clear road trip movie feel. but natural disasters happened in Japan during 2011, if I can recall right. So Atlas decided to shift onto a current plot style we have today. This could be from a period in the potential earlier story where the gang visited Inaba, maybe a cameo SQP3 in P4. Unless if they were planning something much serious with Nanago other than a short cameo, but well, hoping that P6 Saga will finally bring us some proper returns of characters, especially as nearly all of them would look different due to gigantic amount of times that has passed since the last appearance. So all that is very cool, but I still have one more thing that I want to share with you guys, and that is a clip that looked like to be a concept of Fusion Summon at one point. Here, take a look. So, that's it for the news today. I'll let you guys know if there's any update. For now, stay safe, and see you guys next time.